Welcome to Headstones and Microphones, where we use AI to step into the past through a researched, first-person simulation of history's most interesting people. I am your host, Calvin. While we've added some creative storytelling, our goal is to inspire your own study of these fascinating lives. Now, let's meet our guest. Today, we are joined by a man who didn't just paint the world, he broke it apart and put it back together in ways no one had ever seen before. For those who may somehow not know who you are, who are you?
Hello, Calvin. I am Pablo Picasso. Some call me a painter, some a sculptor, a ceramicist, or a playwright. But really, I was simply an explorer who never stopped looking for new ways to see.
An explorer indeed. Let's go back to the start. When and where were you born?
I was born on October 25th, 1881, in the beautiful city of Malaga, Spain. The Mediterranean sun was my first teacher of light.
What was your given name at birth?
Oh, it is a mouthful. I was baptized as Pablo Diego Jose Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno Maria de los Remedios Cipriano de la Santísima Trinidad Ruiz y Picasso. It is a Spanish tradition to honor many saints and relatives, you see.
That is a legendary name. Is there a story behind it?
Mostly it was about heritage, but there is a famous story about my actual birth. The midwife thought I was stillborn because I didn't cry. My uncle, who was a doctor, puffed a big cloud of cigar smoke into my face, and I let out a roar of protest. I suppose I've been making noise ever since.
What was your hometown like growing up?
Malaga was vibrant and full of salt air, though we moved to A Coruña and then Barcelona. Barcelona was where my heart really woke up. It was a city of rebels, artists, and beautiful chaos.
What was your family life like?
My father, Jose Ruiz y Blasco, was also a painter and a teacher. He was the one who put the brush in my hand. My mother, Maria, was my greatest supporter. She used to say, "If you become a soldier, you'll be a general. If you become a monk, you'll end up as the Pope." I became a painter, and I became Picasso.
What kind of kid were you?
I was restless. I was a terrible student because I couldn't stop drawing. To me, a 2 looked like a pigeon's wing, and a 0 was an eye. I lived in my sketchbooks.
What did you dream of becoming as a child?
I never dreamed of being anything else but an artist. I could draw before I could speak. My first word was pis, short for lápiz, the Spanish word for pencil.
What were some of your favorite activities in school?
I didn't have many. I spent most of my time in detention, which I actually loved because it was a quiet room with white walls where I could draw all day without interruption.
What was your first job?
I never truly had a job, quote unquote, in the traditional sense. I was a professional artist from the time I was a teenager. I had my first exhibition in Barcelona at a cafe called Els Quatre Gats when I was only 18.
Was there a moment where you realized you were different from everyone else?
My father realized it before I did. Legend says that when I was 13, he saw a study I had done of a pigeon, and he handed me his palette and brushes, saying my talent had already surpassed his. He claimed he would never paint again.
What's a decision that changed everything for you, but felt small at the time?
Deciding to move into a dusty, broken-down building in Paris called the Bateau Lavoie. It was freezing and cramped, but that is where I met the poets and painters who helped me invent Cubism.
What was your biggest break?
Meeting the art dealer Daniel Henry Kahnweiler. He believed in my strange, new Cubist style when others called it an abomination. Having someone willing to show the world your vision is everything.
What were your biggest struggles before success?
Hunger and cold. During my blue period in Paris, I was so poor that I sometimes had to burn my own drawings in the fireplace just to keep the room warm enough to sleep.
Did you ever consider quitting?
Never. For me, breathing and painting were the same thing. If you stop one, the other ends too.
Were there any specific daily habits or routines that you feel are essential to your success?
I worked late into the night while the world was quiet. I also kept many pets, dogs, cats, even a monkey and a goat. They reminded me of the raw, honest energy of nature, which I tried to put into my work.
What was your life like before fame?
It was a time of deep feeling. I lost a very dear friend, and that sadness colored everything. Literally. That was my blue period. It was a time of searching for the soul in the shadows.
Did fame bring happiness?
It brought freedom. Fame allowed me to paint whatever I wanted without worrying if it would sell. But happiness? That came from the work itself, not the applause.
What was the downside of becoming famous?
People start to want a Picasso rather than looking at the art. Everyone wants to own a piece of you, and it can be hard to find the silence you need to create something new.
What misconceptions did people have about you?
People thought I was just messing around, or that I couldn't draw traditionally. But I spent my youth mastering the classics. I used to say it took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, but a lifetime to paint like a child.
What was your darkest moment?
1937, during the Spanish Civil War. When I heard about the bombing of the town of Guernica, it broke my heart. I poured all that pain and rage into my mural, Guernica. It was the darkest thing I ever painted, but it had to be done.
Who had the biggest influence on your life?
Henri Matisse. We were rivals, but we were also like brothers. We pushed each other to go further. When he died, I felt like a part of my own color palette had disappeared.
What was life like in your final years?
I lived in the south of France, surrounded by sunshine and ceramics. I was still working every single day. I had more ideas at 90 than I did at 20.
What were you working on in your career before you passed away?
I was obsessed with the quote-unquote old masters like Velázquez and Rembrandt. I was quote-unquote interviewing them through my paintings, trying to unlock the final secrets of the brush.
When and where did you pass away?
I left the world on April 8th, 1973, in Mougins, France.
What happened?
I was 91 years old, and my heart simply decided it had finished its work. I was at dinner with friends just the night before, still talking about art.
What's a random fact about you most people have never heard?
I used to carry a revolver loaded with blanks. If someone asked me what my paintings meant or bored me with philosophy, I would fire it into the air. It was very effective at ending boring conversations.
What's the craziest rumor ever told about you?
That I stole the Mona Lisa. In 1911, when it went missing from the Louvre, the police actually brought me and my friend Guillaume Apollinaire in for questioning. I was terrified, but I promise, I didn't do it.
What was your most unique habit?
I hated throwing anything away. I kept every scrap of paper, every bottle, every bit of string. To me, everything had the potential to become art.
What was your favorite food?
A simple Mediterranean diet. Grilled fish, tomatoes, olives, and a good Spanish wine.
Did you have any known rivalries?
Besides Matisse, there was Salvador Dali. He was very talented, but he was too much of a showman for me. I preferred to let the canvas do the talking.
Tell us a story nobody talks about.
During the Nazi occupation of Paris, an officer saw a photo of Guernica in my studio. He asked me, "Did you do that?" I looked him in the eye and said, "No, you did."
What advice would you give people chasing success?
Action is the foundational key to all success. Don't wait for inspiration. It has to find you working. Just start. Paint a line, write a word, and see where it leads.
Pablo, this has been an absolute masterclass. Do you have any closing remarks for our listeners before we sign off?
Only this. Art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. Don't let your soul get dusty. Keep looking, keep questioning, and never grow up. Thank you for inviting me to your microphone, Calvin. It was a marvelous chat.
Thank you, Pablo. What an incredible look at a life lived in full colour. I'm definitely going to look at my zeros and twos differently from now on. And that wraps up another conversation from Beyond the Grave. Thanks for joining us on the Headstones and Microphones podcast. Remember, legends may die, but their stories never do. Please help spread the word by sharing and following the pod.